Depression, it's a terrible thing. In my 20s, I was depressed and ended up on antidepressants and tranquilizers for a while. So I know just how awful it can be. So I want to share with you some research on how 7 lifestyle changes can reduce your chances of depression by 57% compared with people who didn't make those changes. 57%, that's huge. And we have the data to show this is true. Even adopting one of these lifestyle factors can reduce your chances of becoming depressed by 22%. Yep, the science is there, so let's have a look at it. There's a link in the video description, so you can look at the research in more depth if you want to. The research has recently been published in the academic journal Nature Mental Health. An international team of researchers, including some from the University of Cambridge, examined data from almost 290,000 people. 13,000 of them had depression. The data comes from the UK Biobank, a biomedical database containing genetic, lifestyle and health information about its participants. The information was collected in a way that meant that people couldn't be personally identified. You may have noticed that the data included genetic information, and I'll come back to that later, because those who are at a higher risk of depression because of genetic factors still benefited. So what did they find? Sleep was the most important factor. Having a good night's sleep, between 7 and 9 hours a night, makes the biggest difference, reducing the risk of depression, including single depressive episodes and treatment-resistant depression, by 22%. Sleep is really important to our health and well-being. I have a whole playlist about it. I'll put a link in the video description and also a link at the end of this video. The second most important one was never smoking. This reduced the chances of suffering from depression by 20%. Of course, you can't do anything about this if, like me, you've smoked in the past. But it does mean you need to double down on the other 6. The next most important is frequent social connections. This reduced the risk of depression by 18% and was particularly important for recurrent depressive disorder. We know loneliness has big effects on our health. The US National Institute on Aging says research has linked social isolation and loneliness to higher risks for a variety of physical and mental conditions: high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, a weakened immune system, anxiety, depression, cognitive decline, Alzheimer's disease, and even death. This may not be a problem for you, loneliness, but maybe you know someone who is lonely. Can you find a way to reach out to them, at least occasionally? Regular physical activity reduced depression by 14%. Many people understand the physical benefits of physical exercise, looking toned, losing weight. But regular physical activity has other benefits too, both physical and mental, including combating depression. Low to moderate sedentary behaviour reduces the chance of depression by 13%. That's sitting to you and me. Many people don't take regular physical activity, but they move about a lot in their jobs, or because they're always on the go and find it difficult to sit for long. This lowers their rate of depression, even if they don't do formal activity. Of course, it's better to do both. University of South Australia researchers have said that research shows physical activity is 1.5 times more effective than counselling or the leading medications for depression. I hope you're finding this video useful. Please like, comment and share. The more people like this video, the more likely YouTube is to share it with other people. And please subscribe too. Moderate alcohol consumption decreased the risk of depression by 11%. What do we mean by moderate? No more than 1 to 2 drinks a day for men, and no more than 1 drink a day for women, although some researchers now think it needs to be less than that, and some days with none at all. Many people use alcohol to help them sleep, but research shows although you fall asleep quicker, the quality of your sleep is much less. A healthy diet reduced depression by 6%. Not a big number, but we know a healthy diet has all sorts of other health benefits. The participants were divided into 3 groups depending on how many of these healthy lifestyles they followed. The groups were labelled unfavourable, intermediate, and favourable lifestyle. Individuals in the intermediate group were around 41% less likely to develop depression compared to those in the unfavourable lifestyle. So even making some lifestyle changes can be beneficial. Don't think it's an all or nothing situation. Those in the favourable lifestyle group were 57% less likely than those in the unfavourable group to suffer from depression. Remember at the beginning, I said I'd talk to you about genetics and depression. The team examined the DNA of the participants, assigning each a genetic risk score. That was based on the number of genetic variants an individual carried that had a known link to a risk of depression. Those with the lowest genetic risk score were 25% less likely to develop depression when compared to those with the highest score. It's a much smaller impact than lifestyle. And of course, you can't do anything about your genes, but you can change your lifestyle. The team found that even people at high genetic risk for depression could cut their risk of depression with a healthy lifestyle. Professor Barbara Sahakian, not sure if that's how it is pronounced, from the Department of Psychiatry at the University of Cambridge said, although our DNA, the genetic hand we've been dealt, can increase our risk of depression, we've shown that a healthy lifestyle is potentially more important. She went on to say, some of these lifestyle factors are things we have a degree of control over, so trying to find ways to improve them, making sure we have a good night's sleep and getting out to see friends, for example, could make a real difference to people's lives. Dr. Christelle Langley, also from the Department of Psychiatry at the University of Cambridge, said, we're used to thinking of a healthy lifestyle as being important to our physical health, but it's just as important for our mental health. So that's it, 7 lifestyle factors that can reduce your chances of suffering from depression, even if genetically you're at a high risk. If you're anxious rather than depressed, vigorous exercise and a healthy diet have been shown to be particularly effective. And the great thing about these lifestyle factors is that they all have lots of other benefits for our health and well-being. They reduce your chances of getting some cancers, heart problems, and being overweight. Get started today to give yourself a big chance of a happy, healthy future. And please make me happy by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing to this channel. Thanks a lot.